Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. This is the D200 Distribution Intermediate online training. My name is Luis Pingarron. I am part of the support services area. I am an ERP support consultant and I've been working with Acumatica for around 6-7 years. Um, uh, We are going to work today with a snapshot that was provided on the prerequisites of the training. We need to have the D200 distribution guide ready. We need to have all the files that were provided also. And there is another part that is that requires a snapshot that we will be working late this week. So in order to go on with the training, please have everything ready so you can keep up with the steps and with the lesson that we'll be working with. The exam is included on the partner university, and it is for the D200 course. We recommend that after every lesson it will be a good idea to try to work on the exam for you to have everything fresh and pass the test. Okay, this is what are we going to do this week. The idea is to have the inventory training on the July 17 and 18. We will work on purchase orders on Wednesday, July 19, and Thursday and Friday we are going to cover sales order and replenishment calculation. These can be adjusted. There is a lot of information that we have to cover, so it might take a little bit longer or it might take a little bit shorter every lesson. But the idea is this: we will work on it through the week to try to cover everything. We are short on time. We just have 2 hours every day, so we will keep a pace a little fast, so we not leave anything behind at the end of the week. Okay, so through the online or for the online training, for each lesson we will highlight the key points, and we will use the chat for questions and raise hand. Unfortunately, there is not that much time for question. It will be better if you can just send me an email with your questions, and I will try to respond as fast as possible. If it's something fast, something simple, just use the chat and I can take a look at it. If it's not going to take a lot of time, I will try to respond. But if it's a little bit more of a detailed question, just shoot me an email and I will try to help you out over there. So on this section, on this training, you have to work on the exercises on your own time, and of course there is an exam that you will have to also work on your own. Okay, so the rules that we have for every session, please download, or if you didn't already did, the training materials. We have it on the partner university, and also they are available on this class. During every day, during every session, we will have 3 polling questions that I will send out to all of you on each session, so we can get a 1 CPE credit. In case you need something, or in case you need to ask some question, just use the the application to raise your hand so I can take a look at it, and if possible I will get back to you. Okay, so let's start with the scenario that we are going to work during this weekend. We have a sample company that is defined as a head office, that the head office has the administration area, the cash management, and the accounting and financial control. We have the distribution center that it covers all the purchasing, all the logistics, and it has the main or central inventory. And also we have two stores, one on the south and one on the north. These stores are mostly for sales and store some inventory. This is the scenario. This is my company. So let's start with lesson 1, inventory. Okay. Here we are going to create warehouses. We are going to work with multiple warehouses. We are going to process inventory receipts to a particular warehouse. We are going to review the item warehouse settings. We are going to review the cost of the items on hand on each warehouse. And we are going to reconcile the cost of inventory with the account balance in general ledger. Okay, so with everything clear, let's open the application and let's log in. So what the idea is that you have already restored your snapshot provided, so we can just start with the warehouse. The first thing that we have to do is to enable the feature. So we go to configuration, common settings, enable disable features, and here we modify the multiple warehouse so we can create and enable the multiple warehouse functionality in the system. Once this is done, we will be able to start creating warehouses. So we just have to confirm this is ready. We enable it and we go to distribution, configuration, and we go to the warehouses screen. So on this case, we are going to create the first warehouse that is called South for the branch South. It is active. We set the description. And the required country, which is US, and save. So this is the first warehouse that we set. The next one is going to be north. For the north branch, we set it as active, and we set the description, which is north in the store on the US. So this is the minimal information. Of course, you can see that you can set up GL accounts for every branch, and we have information about the address, so you can set that up if needed. So on this step, we just created the northern and the southern warehouses. So, and the first thing that we have to do is to set the business date. Our company started working on October 1st, 2016. This will make easier when we start creating transactions. Okay, this is 10 October 1st, 2016. Okay, now we have the business date, and also we can set our user a default branch, which is also useful when we are going to work with the different branches around the company. Okay, so we are going to select the center one. Okay, we save, and now we have the business date and the default branch. Okay, now let's create a new receipt. We go to distribution, inventory, receipts, and if you see, you have the date from the business date, we have the post period, and we are going to create a new entry for our items on the distribution center. So the first thing that we have to do is get the description, and we are going to add branch center. Let's distribution center. Since I didn't log out, let's change it to make it easier. So let's paste the distribution, and now we have the correct branch. By default, we select the battery. We are going to receive it on our center warehouse. We are going to receive 4 at a unit cost of 55. Then we are going to receive also a leather case on our center warehouse, 6 pieces for $90. Okay, so now we are going to take it out to hold, save the transaction, and release. So if we check out our financial details and the batch created, it will show that we have on the merchandise inventory account, we have the 4 and the 6, which are ready, and the inventory accrual 760. These accounts and these transactions are already set up on your snapshot, so you should have the same result. Let's create a new receipt. Now this receipt is for October 2nd. We are going to receive items for our Northern Star. So if we are going to receive the Northern Store, it's recommended to just select the branch that we are going to work with in order to have the branch defaulted here. So we have the correct date, branch, the inventory is battery, we have 2, and we are going to receive it with 60, and the leather case, we can just type also, it's going to be for 3, and with a cost of 96. Okay, so we have our receipt, our Northern Store, we save it, would be a good idea to select the warehouse, north, north, and save. Okay, now we don't have errors and we release it. Okay, now we have items on both of our stores. Now let's take a look on our item warehouse settings. So to do that, we go to the stock items string, select the letter case, and we can click, and if you see, we have quantity on hand on the center warehouse. We have quantity on hand on the north warehouse. Now we select the first line, and from here we click on the hyperlink, and it will open the item warehouse details screen. On the price cost information, we can review the cost that involved on our last receipt, which is basically at this point just 90. Okay? If you want to review the second line, just click and we can just verify that we have the letter case on the north warehouse. Okay? Let's go to the next step, which is just to verify on the inventory evaluation report. We just need to select the warehouse, and we can see that for this warehouse we have the two items that we just received, and if we click on the parameters, we can just select the north, and we can see that we have our quantity on hand and the total cost based on the receipt that we just created. Okay, so now on the next step, we want to verify that the GL transactions or the GL information it matches with our inventory. So to do that, we can just go to the inventory evaluation and historical inventory evaluation, and we just need to select the period and the branch. So we are going to select center, we're going to report, and we see that we have $760 as the valuation for my inventory for period 10-2016, which basically is the summary of both transactions that we just created. Now, to validate that this is the same information that we have on finance, we go to account details screen, and we just select the account. This is basically merchandise inventory. This is for the north, and this is for the center. So for this warehouse, we have exactly the same information on the inventory and on the GL account. And this is how we verify that everything matches between the inventory module and the general ledger module. Okay, so now let's go back to our presentation. No, this is not the one. This is the one. Okay, so on this lesson, we created our warehouses, we processed receipts, we check on the warehouse settings, we check on the cost of items, and we reconcile the information on both the inventory and the general ledger. Now let's go back to the lesson 2, which we are going to define a receiving location within my warehouse. We are going to define bin location at a warehouse. We are going to define the location for damaged goods. And we are going to review the on-hand and available quantities by location. Okay, it's important to understand what we are going to do with the, or what are we going to set on our warehouse. On this level, we have the default location main, we have the bin 1, the bin 2, which is basically, and at the top we are going to set a location for damaged items. This is the idea. Okay, so let's go back to our guide, and we are going to, the first thing that we have to do is to enable the multiple locations feature on our application. So you find it at the bottom under advanced distribution, and we enable it. Okay, by default each warehouse has a single main location, and we can just set receiving locations, shipping locations, RML location, and dropship locations. Each location can be set for including quantity available, to be cost separately, sales allowed, receipts allowed, and transfers allowed. So we are going to work on that in a minute. Okay, so once we enable the feature, the next thing that we have to do is to go to our warehouse settings, and here we are going to use the center warehouse, which is already have the main location ID, and we are going to upload our warehouse locations for the center warehouse. We go to open, we click upload, click OK. Everything is mapped, and we have our 4 locations that I described previously. On this damage location, we are not going to include it on the quantity available for our sales. So if we need to put something damaged and we don't want them to use it to include on every or any sales, we just uncheck this parameter here and save. And also we need to uncheck the sales allowed. So any item or anything that is located on this location will not be included on the quantity available calculation, and also will be not allowed to sales. We can receive, we can transfer, and we can use it for assembly, but we will not be able to sell or include it on quantity. Okay, we save, and we're going to do the same for our north. We upload the files, choose file, north, open, upload, okay, and save. We have our locations. You see, this already set for the damage, and for the south, we are going to do the same. Choose file and south. Upload. Now we have all of our warehouses with the locations that we needed. So now we are going to review quantities by location. So on this step, we are going to use the inventory allocation details screen. And the inventory summary forms. The first thing that we are going to review is our item class for the accessory, which is the LED, and we review the availability calculation, which is this formula. This formula was verified on the D100, and we want for these items to include or deduct quantities for this. Now we go to the inventory summary form, and let's check on the leather case. So these items have quantity available and available for shipment, and on this side we will find the quantity on hand for every warehouse that we just received. So basically we just have the same items and with the same quantities that we created on the previous steps. Now let's create some inventory transfers. Let me go back to the presentation, which is here. We are going to check on one-step transfer, which is basically and mostly used for one location to another location within the same warehouse, or if it's a warehouse pretty close, you can do also a one-step for warehouse or for location. And if there is an in-transit involved, it's recommended to use a two-step transfer. So let's work on both. So on this case, we are going to create a transfer from within our same warehouse. So this transfer is going to be created on the 5th. We are going to create a one-step transfer within my same distribution center, and we are going to set the description, which is basically a laptop battery broke during the arrangement of goods. So basically the battery is damaged and we are going to send it out to the damaged location. So we select the item and we are going to send it from the main location to the damaged location. How many? Just one. We take it off the hold, we save, and we release. Now, if we can see that there is no GL transactions created, and this is because the inventory ID is FIFO, so the cost is going to be the same within the same, because it's the same layer that he's using. And we can take a look at the inventory transactions details screen. And we see for the period, we select the warehouse, center, and the battery. Okay, so on this case we can review on this screen, we can review that we have our original receipt, which is 4, and then we transfer from main location, we are taking out 1 and we are going to put it on the damaged location. At the end we have the same 4 on our warehouse, but one of them is on the damaged location. Now we are going to do on the inventory summary, we are going to review the battery, which is basically has similar information that we just checked. But you can see this, that on the location we don't have anything available, and this is because we set this location to not be included on the available quantity, and also it is marked as not available, and we have 1 on hand. Okay, this is just to verify that the location is not allowed to be included on the availability quantity. Now, let's create a 2-step transfer. Let's go back to our transfers screen, and we change the 2-step, and we set the date to 10/06, and we are going to transfer from warehouse center, and we are going to transfer to the north warehouse. Set up the description, and we are going to send batteries from location main. We have 3, and we are going to send out leather cases 3 of the 6 that we have. On this case, we are going to take it off the hold, save the transaction, and release. And now we do have a GL transaction number, which basically what it's saying is we are taking 165, and we are going to put it on goods in transit. And let's go back. Let's click on here, and let's check on our inventory summary, and we can see that let me adjust the screen. Leather case north. I have to remove this, and we have these 3 items in transit. And also we can check out our report called goods in transit. We can just, and we can see that we have 3 batteries and 3 leather cases. Okay, so now we are going to receive the items that are in transit. So for that, we are going to open the receipt screen. We are going to set the date, so 7. We are going to select the transfer that we just created. This will pull our items. This will pull all the quantity and the cost. We are going to set the description. And we just have to verify that everything is okay. Take it off the hold, and we are going to release. And now let's take a look at the GL transaction. If we can see, we have taken out from the goods in transit and from the distribution to the north, and we have the pieces back, or the amounts back to the inventory account. So now we just put items in our warehouses and our locations. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation and let's move forward to lesson 4. But before that, let's start with one poll question. So let me select one. I will give you around 1 minute to answer. This is okay. Now you should be able to see it on your screen. Please select the correct answer. Okay, I will, there's just one more missing. And I will close the poll. So for this question, what should you perform to be able to use multiple warehouses? The first thing that you have to do is to enable the multiple warehouses feature. Okay, let's continue with lesson 4. Let's talk about the lot and serial track items. The lot and serial track numbers are used to track certain types of inventory items as they are received, stored, manufactured, shipped. A serial number is a unique number that identifies a single item of stock. A lot number is a unique identification code assigned to a specific quantity or lot of a product. The same lot number is assigned to every item of the lot. Now, lot and serial classes. The settings of the lot and serial classes are defined at the item level by means of lot serial classes that are configured on the lot serial classes form. Lot or serial classes are divided into 3 groups based on their tracking method. Classes of items that are not tracked by any number, that are tracked by lot numbers, and that are tracked by serial numbers. So on this case, our company has decided to purchase laptops and computer keyboards. Each laptop has an individual cost, which depends on its characteristic, such as RAM or CPU or hard drive, and also has a unique serial number that you want to track in the system. The cost of keyboards depends on a lot that also has an individual number. We are going to perform the next step to set our lot and serial classes. So let's go back to our application, and the first thing that we have to do is to enable the lot and serial class functionality feature, which is here. We enable it, and we have to set now our lot and serial class, and you have to go to distribution, inventory, lot serial classes. The first class that we are going to do is the one that will track serial numbers. So we set up the class ID, we set up the description, we are going to track the serial numbers, we are going to assign the serial number when the item is received, and we are going to set the issue method as user enterable, and we are not going to auto-generate next number. So on this case, we will manually select the serial number when we are going to issue an item of this class. We are going to save the settings, and we are going to create the lot class. So we set the ID, we set up the description, and we are going to track lot numbers. These lot numbers are going to be assigned when received, and they are going to be issued by FIFO. We don't need how to generate next number, and save. Okay, so once we have this, we have two we can check. We have the serial numbers, which, as I mentioned before, every serial number is unique within the items, and we have lot numbers. We can have multiple items that belong to the same lot. So now we have to create an item to select of this class. So we go, the first thing that we have to do is to add this to our class ID. So we select, we are going to create a new one, which is for computers. We set the ID, we set the description. Is this a stock item? This is a finished good. The valuation method is specific. We are going to select exempt. We are going to select the posting class computer, and we are going to select the lot serial class as serial number. The base unit is piece. We can use this one for the same sales unit and the purchase unit. And we save. Now let's go to the stock item screen, and we select the keyword. I'm sorry, we're not going to select the keyword. We are going to create a new item called laptop 12, which is a 12-inch laptop, and the item class that we are going to use is computers. Once I selected the item class, it pulled out the default values, and we can verify and confirm that it selected our newly lot serial class created. I'm going to save. Now we are going to open the keyboard, and we are going to change the valuation method to specific, and we are going to select the lot serial class to track lots, and save. Once this is done, we can create a receipt for items that are serial and lot tracked. In order to do that, we go to our receipts screen, and for October 10, 2016, we are going to receipt on the distribution center. So let's change our default branch. Let's do that again. For October 10, we are going to receive 12-inch laptops to our distribution center. we select the item, we select the warehouse, which is center, and we are going to receive just one. And 1200 is cost, and the lot serial number is going to be LTP1. And let's save this, and let's upload more items from our file. Select and OK. OK. And if you see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laptops, and each one has their own and unique serial number. We can save it here. And let's add one more for keywords. So we select keyword, we select the warehouse, the location, and on this case we are going to select 5, and for a unit cost of 20, but all these 5 items belong to a lot number set here, which is KB1. Now everything matches. We have 10 items that we are going to receive to the distribution center, and everything is correct. We take off the hold, we save, and we release. And now let's create another receipt for the 11. But on the next day, we select the item, which is keyboard, and we are going to select center. We're going to select 5 more and a different cost, but they belong to the same lot. Either we type it or we just select it. Take off the hold and save. Now to review everything what we just need, we just go to the inventory valuation report, select, let's take a look first at the laptop, for the warehouse center. Take a look at the report, and we have all our 5 items, and the total cost is 6,000. Now let's take a look at the lot serial number reports. Let's take a look at the warehouse center, and let's check. So on this report we can see that we have a lot number here for the inventory ID keyword, and we have all our unique numbers for our laptops. Okay, we have that step ready, and now let's create a transfer for serial track numbers. On this case, we need to specify which specific item we are going to transfer. To do that, we are going to create a transfer. This is going to be a one-step transfer. Let's check that we are on distribution, and this is for the 12 for warehouse ID center. And we are going to transfer it to the North store. We set the description for the transfer, and on this case we are going to set laptop 12. We are going to set. Okay, and now on this case we have a warning. This warning is because we set the item to be user enterable, so we have to select manually which specific computer or serial number we need to transfer. So in order to do that, we can just go to allocations screen, and on this case we select the location that we are going to use and which serial number we want to transfer. In this case, we are going to select the first one, and we add another line. We'll double click, and we're going to select number 2. Once we click, we have that. We click OK, and the warning disappears. We have a split message here. We can just select one if it's one, but on this case there are 2. We need to use the allocations button to select both of them. Now let's save. Now let's add one more line for keyboards. We're going to send 5 and enter. On this case, the system assigned the first lot that we had because the class of the ID is set to FIFO. So it is not user enterable, it is FIFO, so the system will take a look at the information of the item in order to select the correct lot. Okay, so that's for lesson 4. Let's check on lesson 5. Okay, so here we are going to review the different inventory valuation methods. We are going to check on the average costing method. We are going to review the specific identification method. We are going to use the FIFO method, first in, first out, and we are going to use the standard costing method. So let's start with this valuation method, which is this table is very useful. Here we can see the differences between each of the valuation methods. For example, the valuation method average is applicable to stock items, any stock item. The specific is only for with lot or serial numbers. FIFO can be applicable to any stock item, and standard can be applicable also to any stock item. So this is a very useful table. Keep it in mind when doing the test, when doing the implementations, when helping your customers. Oops. And in just one page, we can see the difference between all of them. Okay. Now, there are some things that I want to check with you. That, for example, sometimes we've been working with some evaluation method, but at some point the customer wants to change it. So it is possible, once you take out all the items from the warehouse, it is possible to change the valuation method for the item. If the item has quantity on hand, it will not be able to change it. So all you have to do is to create an issue for any quantity that is on hand, release, it will update the item, and then you can go to the stock item screen and change the valuation method. That is pretty useful. Another thing that is important is that the valuation method is tracked in the base currency only. There are some customers that use different or foreign currency to sell, and the valuation method will be only displayed as base currency. So if you use something else, it will not be applied to your inventory valuation. There are some other things I want to point out. Okay, so let me go back to the application. Let me show you some things, a couple of things. Here, first, the inventory valuation method will display the total cost of your items. This is a pretty useful report. You will use it every time. And there is an inquiry created for this training that is here. This is not the standard GI. This GI was created for this training only, but you can just go to customization, edit generic inquiry, and you can just export and import on your application. But this this GI, and we are going to use it throughout the training, is pretty useful, so you can see the layers of the cost of every item. It will help you out to understand which cost and why is used and where is used and so on. So it is, I will really recommend to use this cost layer on your application. This is not the standard. This was created for this training, but you can use it on your own local computer. Okay, let's go to lesson step 5.1. We are on page 44 of training guide. So we're going to review the leather case. So to do that, we are going to distribution, inventory, stock items, and we are going to select the leather case. And if you see, we have the cost of the item, which is not the same. I think I missed a step. Um, Hold on a second, let me see why it's not showing. We are on the same languages we have. Okay. So I think I missed a step. Or maybe I just missed to change the stock item cost. I will have to fix that. Okay. We are on the valuation. Let me check on this. Okay. I think I missed to change the cost on one of the transactions. Okay, I will have to fix that, but not to hold it. I will just use the guide to show you. I think I missed a step of creating a different unit cost for one transaction from what they receipt. So this can be fixed. I will do it later. But the idea here is just to illustrate the average cost, which is 92, the minimum cost that it has, and the maximum cost, and the average that we'll be using. So on this case, we will see that, let me get this a little bit bigger. We can see on the average cost method how the cost is created on every other transaction and updated. Okay? I will try to find what did I miss and let you know tomorrow. Let's see if we can just let's go to the laptop. Maybe I just did that also there. And let's see. We have the valuation method for the laptop. And we have, okay, for the center warehouse. Okay. And we can see that, Let's filter by the item. Laptop 1. Okay, so excuse me, we can see that we have every serial number with each cost specific. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, we're good here. Yes, every serial has their own cost, which is set for this computer as a specific. Okay, now let's take a look at the cost. Let's use this cost layer and let's select the keyboard. And let's take a look. There is only just one layer. Okay, I think, yeah, I think I found that. Thank you. We have one little thing missing. Yeah, the keyboard is not released. Thank you. And okay, that one's missing. Now let's go back, and the cost should be updated. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. I forgot to release the transfer. No, the receipt. So now we have the cost updated for this layer, which is the lot. We have two receipts, which one was as as a unit cost of 20, and the other one was a unit cost of 22. So the total cost becomes 21 for the lot. You can see the formula on page 48, which is basically 5 items of 20 plus 5 items of 22 is 220, divided by the total quantity, which is 10. The result is 21. Okay. Now let's go to the transfers form. And let's select the one for October 12th. And let's release it. Save, release. And let's take a look of the inventory transactions by account form. Where is it? Here it is. And inventory account. And we can see for the laptop, let's filter this. We need to check the unit cost for, let me get this a little bit bigger, how the cost for each transaction, which is one is on one cost and the other one is at 1200. So basically the transfer created two lines for each item, which is basically for each unit cost. Now let's check on the keyboard, and we can see that is just one line because it is by lot. From one warehouse to the other. Now let's take a look at the cost layers for the laptop. And the warehouse is center. And we can see that these layers are gone. So basically what we are looking at is that every layer, when the items are out, the cost belongs to 0. And basically the system will delete the layer we delete the layer and it will not be used. So on this case, we can see we remove how the layer was removed when we did the transfer for the serial 1 and 2 for this warehouse. I hope that is clear. Okay, let me check. Okay. Okay, now let's create an adjustment. We want to create an adjustment on the 13 and 13. Because we noticed that the receipt was not correct. So we are going to set the description and we are going to update the cost that we need to. So basically the idea of the incorrect transactions are on page 50. The wrong receipts were, let me show you. So the wrong receipt on the 10 was for 1,220 when it should have been for 1,240. So the difference is 20. On this, the serial number was incorrect. It was set to 5. The cost is correct. The cost is correct, but the serial number is 6, not 5. And on this case, we are going to check on the lot, which is 1 for 5. We are going to change the cost from 100 to 110. So the difference is 20 on one side, 0 for the serial number correction, and 10 for the lot. So this is going to be transferred as this. On the first line, we are going to set the extended cost, which is the difference for this serial number 3. We are going to remove everything, which is basically one item at 1240 for the serial number 5, and we are going to add this item at 1240 for the serial number 6. And on the keyboard, we are not going to update any quantity, but we are going to update the cost plus 10. So basically, when you need to create an adjustment, keep in consideration that we need to use the differences to adjust properly. So let's do that. So we select our item, which is laptop 12, for our warehouse occasion. We don't want to adjust any quantity. We just want to adjust the unit cost for which serial number, number 3. Now we want to adjust the quantity for this serial number. So we are going to remove it. We are going to use the same cost that it has and we're going to select it. So basically this is minus 1240. And we're going to do the opposite for the 1240 for the serial number. Remember, the warning is because it needs a serial number. So in this case, we're just going to copy and paste it and change it to 6. And on the last line, we are going to just adjust the cost of 10 for, oops, wrong item. This is for the keyboard. We are going to adjust only the cost. So for this lot serial. So at the end, we should have the unit cost here is 220, and this is 20. Sorry about that. 1240, 1240. So it's 1240, and we have 1240, 1240. This is 21, and this is 10. Okay, let's update that, and that should be it. So let me check that everything matches as the screen. Okay, we take out of the hold, we save, and also I forgot the reason code. We are going to use the receipt adjustment reason code. So we just can copy here and paste on every line. So everything looks fine. We take off the hold and we release. Now we review the general ledger batch, and we adjusted the 20, 1240 out because of the serial number adjustment, and 1240 in, and 10, and the total for the accrual will be 30. So far so good. We go to the evaluation report, and we take a look at the laptop only, and center warehouse, and we check on that everything, oh, it was detail. We have the adjustments, on this side of 20. Now it is 1240. Okay, these are the adjustments. Okay, so far so good. And the same for the keyboard. Okay, we adjust it, and now it's 115 as it should be. Okay, so let's go back to another poll question. Okay, let's select number 2 and launch. Oh, thank you so much. I was muted. So I was explaining the receipt that we created for sorry about that. Thank you very much for letting me know. I was just started talking and didn't unmute myself. So we just, let me go back just to explain. We were just creating the receipt with two layers of cost, 155 and 165. So on this screen, on the cost layer, we are going to review that we have on the, let me get this a little bit bigger. Okay, we need to set the date, and let's put it behind this. We need to include this column so we can see how this works. So in this case, we have on the receipt on the second, we have two items at 55. On the 7, we have three items at 55. And this is where I think I missed the step. This cost should be 60. And on the 4th, we have another layer of 60. Okay? So we have three layers based on our receipts depending on the days. So let's take an adjustment and let me show you what happened. So on this case, we need to adjust, and this is how we have to set it up to correct that we had a wrong receipt on the second for the two items at 60, creating a 120, and the correct was 257, so the difference is -6. So on this case, I'm going to take advantage of this, and instead of adjusting, let's create an adjustments screen, and we're going to do on the 13 is going to correct for the north, the battery, and we should select the warehouse north, and we are not going to adjust any quantity. We are going to adjust the piece, and we are going to adjust -6. And the receipt that we are going to select is the one of the second. So basically, because this is a FIFO item, we need to tell the system which layer we need to adjust. And just select the receipt. We take up the hold and release. Now if we go back to our cost layers, we are going to see that well, on this case it's 52, but it should be 57 as the example said on page 56, and that is because I created the receipt with the incorrect cost. But this was 55, and we just needed to decrease it. So this is the result of this only layer. If you see, the other layers are untouched because we selected the receipt that we created on the October 2nd. Okay, so now let's create an issue on the 14th. And we are going to sell 3 items. So we are going to use different layers for this transaction. So we select the item, which is battery. We are going to set north. We are going to set location, quantity is 3, and the price is 75. And save. And let me check everything looks fine. Yes. And release. So the cost is 164 because of the difference that I created, but now the calculation on the example on page 57 is that 3 items at cost of 57 it should be 171 because of my difference of cost on my example is 164. But you can see, or you can follow the correct transactions on the documentation. I will get that fixed for you tomorrow. Okay, so we are on time. Okay, we are currently working on page 57 for Sean that was asking. Now we need to review the inventory valuation for the battery and for the warehouse north and detail. So in this case we sold 2 units and 1 cost and 1 unit of or 1 layer at the other cost, which is 60. This is as 57 that I had on my example, which is not correct. Okay, let's start with the standard costing method. Step 5. So the first thing that we have to do is to configure the standard cost for the item. So in order to do that, we need to go to the stock items screen, and let's take this for the mouse. And now we change this standard, and we need to update, let's see, the cost. Pending cost will be 10, and the date to update it will be the 14th. So we save, and in order to update this cost we can use actions, update cost, and from the pending, it goes to the current and the effective date. Now we go to the warehouse detail and we're going to add the cost for the warehouse north, and we are going to update for this specific warehouse. So on this case we are going to use 10.5 and the date is going to be 10/14 and we save. And now we want to update the standard cost to 10.5 from 10 for this specific warehouse. We can do that using the update the standard cost screen. We select the item and we click on process. And now in this case we have a specific cost of 10.5 for the warehouse north and 10 for any other warehouse. So now let's create a receipt of this standard item for the 15 and for the distribution center. Okay. 10/15. Select the description, the item that we just updated, the warehouse center, quantity 20, and the unit cost will be 9.5, and check and receive. So we have let me see, everything looks fine, and release. So on this case we can see that the standard cost is 10, and that is why we are getting into the inventory 200, which is missed it. The 10 cost for the 20, and we have a difference of 10 between the receipt and the standard cost, which is automatically created. Let me get back there. Okay. Okay, now let's create a transfer on the 16, so we can take a look from warehouse center to warehouse north. For this item. So we have the mouse from main to main. We are going to transfer 10 pieces. We take out the hold. We review that everything looks fine and save. And release. And we see that we have the inventory transfer, which is 100, and we have for the branch, for center branch, we have 105 for the north center, and we have the expected difference of the standard cost, because from this warehouse or branch the cost is different, so the system automatically updates the difference on the GL. Okay. And let's create the adjustment. So now we want to adjust on the 17. Oh, sorry. Of course, standard cost has to be done through the item warehouse details screen. So we are going to select the mouse north, and on the price cost we are going to update to 9.75, and we are going to set it up as 10/17/2016, and we save. Now we go to standard cost preview report just to verify where is it? Oh, here it is. Oh, come on. And we are going to set the date, which is 17, and we have the total of 97.5 pending based on the change we just made on the item warehouse details, the screen. And now we are going to update it. And the warehouse is warehouse. We have to change it to 2017. 17, and there you are. Select it and process. So now we updated the standard cost. Now let's take a look at the item. In this case, we have last cost that's 10.5, an average cost of 9.87. This is for information purposes only at the item level, and we can see that on the center warehouse we have a current cost of 10, and on the north warehouse we have a current cost of 9.75 based on the changes that we just created. And if you see, since we updated just for the north, we are using a specific standard cost for just this warehouse. Okay, so let's take our last poll question before we call it a day, and this one, lunch. Okay, everyone, I will close the poll now. And the question was, the inventory valuation report shows, and the correct answer was the on-hand quantity and the total cost of inventory items. Okay, hopefully everybody got that right, which I think you did. Well, I will end it up the session today now. We are going to start lesson 6 tomorrow. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time, and hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.